My stepdaughter said I'm not her real mom, so I refused to pay her college tuition. I never imagined I would tell this story, but some burdens are too heavy to carry alone. My name is Robin, a 45-year-old woman who built a successful restaurant in the city from the ground up, a feat I was immensely proud of. 5 years ago, my life's work brought a man into my world whom I thought was destined to be a part of it forever. James, a contractor hired for some renovations, exuded a certain charm. He was diligent, and had a kindness in his eyes that made me believe he was trustworthy. As the days passed, our conversations grew from professional to deeply personal. He spoke of his 13-year-old daughter, Lisa, and the difficult journey of raising her alone after his ex-wife's struggle with alcoholism led to her losing custody. I found myself drawn to his quiet strength. Our business meetings soon evolved into coffee dates, then dinners, and before long, we were dreaming of a future together. I had found the family I'd always longed for, and it felt perfect. A year later we married. James and Lisa moved into my house, and I threw myself into the role of a stepmother, determined to be the best I could be. I took Lisa shopping, cooked with her, and made sure she had everything she could ever want, including paying for lavish family vacations. I wanted to give her the kind of life I had wished for at her age. There was one point of friction: Lisa's occasional visits with her mother. James insisted it was crucial for Lisa to maintain the connection, despite the past trauma of near-house fires and James's accounts of her drinking. "She's still her mother," he would say, "and Lisa needs to know she cares." I saw her once at a school event, swaying slightly with unfocused eyes, a clear sign to me that she wasn't sober, but I held my tongue. I was just a stepmom, a role I desperately wanted to get right. If only I had known then what I know now, if only my desire to be perfect hadn't blinded me to the truth. The real test was yet to come. Lisa's 18th birthday and graduation were approaching, and she was a nervous wreck, worrying about every detail. To calm her, I offered to host her party at the restaurant. Her face lit up. She loved the idea of showing off the city's new hot spot to her friends. The preparations were a whirlwind. I wanted everything to be flawless. I bought her a beautiful blue dress that made her look so grown up I nearly teared up in the fitting room. When I asked for a guest list, she hesitated. "Just plan for 30, she said evasively. Caught up in the excitement, I let it slide, a mistake I would soon regret. The day of the party, everything was perfect. The restaurant looked beautiful, and Lisa was radiant in her new dress. The atmosphere was joyful until a figure stumbled through the door. It was Lisa's mother, undeniably drunk, her glassy eyes scanning the room. She zeroed in on our table, her gaze filled with malice. She demanded I vacate my seat, asserting her place as Lisa's real mother. I tried to reason with her, pointing to other empty tables, but she became belligerent, shouting insults and accusing me of trying to buy a family. I looked to James for help, but he sat there, silent and unmoving, as if his plate held the key to the universe. Taking a deep breath, I told her she had two options: sit down quietly or be escorted out. Her rage erupted. "You think you can buy everything?" she shrieked, her voice thick with venom. The other diners had fallen silent, watching the spectacle. Then she grabbed a plate and hurled it to the floor. The shattering sound was deafening, followed by another and another. I gave a subtle nod to my security team, who moved in swiftly, guiding her out as her screams echoed down the hall. The aftermath was a silent disaster. The Instagram-perfect party had become a nightmare. Lisa was pale and withdrawn, her beautiful dress now a symbol of the ruin. The party ended early, the guests whispering as they left. "Poor Lisa. Did you see her mom?" one said. As soon as we got home, Lisa retreated to her room, locking me out. I found James in the kitchen, lost in his own silent world. I asked if he had invited her, and his denial was firm. In that moment, a chilling realization hit me: Lisa had invited her. She had wanted her mother there, despite everything. The next few days were like living in a ghost house. Lisa was silent, avoiding eye contact. When I tried to talk to James about it, he waved me off. "She's just processing," he said, the same dismissive tone I'd grown used to. But nothing about this felt fine. Weeks later, the day of Lisa's graduation, we celebrated at our house. For a few hours, surrounded by her friends, it felt normal again. Then Lisa's phone rang. She returned from the hallway with a determined expression. "My mom's coming over," she announced. I shot the idea down immediately, but Lisa's voice rose in protest. "That was your fault," she accused. "You should have just given up your seat." I was stunned. All this time, she had blamed me. I turned to James, my silent rock, hoping he would finally stand up for me, but his gaze was fixed on his shoes. My frustration, 5 years in the making, finally boiled over. "I paid for that party," I told her. "I bought you that dress. All your mother brought was chaos and embarrassment. It's always about the money with you, isn't it?" she screamed, gesturing at me to her friends. "My real mom is coming. It'll be nice to have a normal person here. Your mother is not coming into this house," I said, my voice shaking with fury. That's when she lost it, shrieking. "You're not my mother! You're nothing to me! Just an empty space taking up room!" She stormed out with her friends, slamming the door. Finally, James spoke. "You had no right to throw the house and money in her face," he said, his voice cold and hard. "And where were you?" I shot back. "Where were you when your ex-wife was throwing plates? Where were you when your daughter screamed at me in front of everyone? You're a coward, and I'm done being everyone's punching bag." He stormed off, and the house fell into a cold, tense silence. The next morning, Lisa stumbled in, smelling of alcohol. I looked at James, but he remained utterly silent. A week of being treated like a piece of furniture followed, until one Sunday, Lisa burst into the dining room, her face triumphant. "Berkeley accepted me," she cheered. "Tell your wife she has to pay for my tuition." A strange calm washed over me. "I won't be paying for your college," I said, my voice flat. "You've made it very clear I'm nobody to you. This empty space's wallet is closed. Why don't you ask your real mother?" Lisa's face turned scarlet as she screamed insults, but her fury couldn't touch me anymore. James, of course, tried to intervene, urging me to be the bigger person. I pushed my chair back and stood up. "I've made myself perfectly clear. I will not pay for someone who treats me like dirt." He finally played his last card. "Either you pay for Lisa's education, or I'm filing for divorce." I met his gaze and simply shrugged. "Okay. Get a divorce." His face drained of color. He had not expected me to call his bluff. I called my lawyer the next morning, and the divorce was swift, thanks to the prenup I had insisted on. James and Lisa got nothing. I've since redecorated the house, throwing out the furniture that held too many painful memories. The place feels lighter now, more spacious. Or maybe it's just me, finally free from the burden of trying to buy love from people who were only ever interested in selling me a lie.